Hey, hi, what's up, my dudes? How are you? I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking. And my name is Hannah. If you do not know me, and if you do, I'm sorry. I'm in such a mood. I'm like energized and like everywhere. Okay, so before we get into this story, I have a couple things to say. First and foremost, I know I'm talking funny. I have not quite figured out how to talk with this thing in my face yet. Second of all, make sure that you subscribe to my channel before you leave and make sure you hit that bell button. So we'll start at the beginning. Late August to early September, I was in a terrible headspace. Terrible enough to the point of there was a night I actually attempted to overdose. The only person I had told at the time was my best friend. She's like, well, you're fucking stupid. You need to move in with me. We had talked about it a little bit and goofed off, and I was like, I don't know. And she's like, well, you're alone a lot. Like, she's putting it in my head. She's like, you're alone a lot. So you have a lot of time for your brain to just like soak up all of the negative things going on in your brain. So I was like, we'll do a test run first. I stayed with her for about a week and was like, all right, this is going well. I'll go ahead and move all my stuff in. Her and her boyfriend had just got a house. They had just started renting a house, and it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. There was 2 extra bedrooms, and by the time I had moved in, one of the boyfriends, who we're going to call him Paul. And Paul's friend Brent moved in to one of the bedrooms, so there was only 1 bedroom left when I moved in. I moved in, and things were pretty good. And then things just started to go bad kind of quickly. Just little things started to eat away at me. So I knew going into this that Cruella was kind of a messy person. She didn't really pick up after herself. It was just a lot worse than I could have imagined. But when I would go to work and come home, I would go to work. Pause. I would clean the kitchen, go to work, come home, and the kitchen be dirty again. And then I would clean it again and do it all again the next day. So that started to eat away at me because I wasn't really home enough to be cleaning. I was paying rent. Like, I wasn't just living with him to bum. I was paying anywhere from $150 to like $200 every time I got paid, which is every 2 weeks. So anywhere from like $300 to $400 a month is what I was paying them. I was doing that. I was buying groceries, and I was paying for gas because they were taking me to work, which was fine. I was not against any of those things. I mean, I lived there. I ate food. I lived there, so I need to pay rent. I ate food. I could buy groceries, and they take me to work, so I can pay for gas. That was fine. Didn't bother me. Didn't bother me, I will say, until I found out that Brent was not having to pay a single dime for anything. Mid-October, I started being a vegan. So I was buying food for a vegan because that's the food I was eating. And I would come home and find out that all of my vegan food had been eaten. But I started seeing the guy, so I wasn't really home very often. I was either at work or I was with the guy I was seeing. And if I was home, it was just for a couple hours until the guy got off work. One particular night, the dude, who we are going to call Eric, I guess, came over one night. Me and Eric and Cruella were all drinking together, and then one of Brent's friends also ended up drinking with us. So Paul comes through one time when we were all drinking. We're sitting in the living room floor. He walks through our circle, walks out the front door, and slams it behind him, and then sits in the car and like revs the engine a little bit, acting like a child, you know. And comes back a few minutes later. So the dog that we had together and my dog were both in the living room with us, and the other 2 were outside. So those 2 dogs were inside, and not Oliver, but the other one. When Paul came through, the dog did something, like jumped on him or something. Like, she's a tiny little bitty dog. He literally like picked her up by her neck and chunked her into the garage, and she was crying the entire time. So we were all like, hey, you need to chill, what's going on? He makes dead eye contact with Eric, like, and he's like, you got something to fucking say, bro? He's like, no, just why are you throwing the dog? He's like, it's none of your fucking business. And then he comes right back, comes to the kitchen, opens the fridge and slams it, and then walks back out. And he had slammed it so hard that he broke everything in the door. So he does that, comes back, and starts going off on my friend Cruella, saying how he needed her and she didn't even come check on him, and didn't even give a damn about me. All you care about is these fucking people in here. Fuck these people, blah, 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 blah. He's like, maybe you guys should get out. So Brent's friend that was drinking with us left, and Eric started to leave the room. And I'm shaking. I have a history with guys like this, so I'm shaking and freaking out, and I'm holding my dog because my dog is also terrified of men and hates men. So I'm trying to like keep him chill while keeping myself chill. And he's like, that means you too. And I was like, all right, I'm just trying to chill. And like, I just need to breathe. I'm shaking so bad I can't move. So, and when I'm like in the middle of standing up, he says, she's safe with me, don't worry. But what I said was, I don't feel like she is, but I will trust you. And he just goes off. Takes the shelf that was on the wall right next to him, chunks it across the room and breaks it on the wall over there. Ends up throwing the coffee table, goes like stomps through the kitchen, and he's screaming the whole time, you don't fucking trust me, you don't fucking trust me, you don't fucking trust me, and all this bullshit. And he's like, she don't date abusive guys like you do. You're the one that dated this dude. Do I look like, insert ex's name here, do I look like him to you? Do you really think I'm a monster? You really think I do that shit? You really think I lay my hand on a woman? Blah, 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 blah. Just going off and yelling at me the whole time. I said, Paul, I said I trust you. Told us that we need to get out. So me and Eric left. I put my dog in my room so that he was away from everything. And we left. Right before we did, I crouched down to my friend, hugged her, and while I'm hugging her, I said, I'm not going anywhere. I will be right outside. Please call me. And we left. We went outside. I go home with the boyfriend and come back the next day when he took me home when he went to work. So I get home, and I think I have footage of what the house looked like, and I will show you if I do. But the boyfriend's gone. Paul's gone. And it's just me and Cruella. He ends up calling her, or coming home, or he comes home. That's what it is. He comes home. She's like, are you off work? He said, no, I quit. And just keeps walking. He goes on for a couple weeks about, he doesn't mind me living there, but he can't live with somebody who thinks he's a monster. But first of all, somebody's not going to think you're a monster unless you're acting like a monster. I ended up talking to my friend about moving. I was like, look, she had mentioned to me after everything that she might want to move out on her own. And I was like, if you don't want to live alone, I am currently looking at apartments. So you are more than welcome to room with me. I love you to death. I want you to be safe. I want you to feel safe. I want you to be okay. So we can room together. We don't have to room together, but I'm just letting you know the option is there. She's like, no, I think I just want to do it on my own, blah, 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 blah. And then about a week later, she dropped it. She didn't want to move out anymore. I was like, all right, well, I'm still looking. I don't feel safe here. And when I said that, she laughed. She literally laughed at me. The whole reason she wanted me to move in was so that I would be safe and comfortable and feel okay here. And when I told her I was feeling unsafe and not okay here, she laughed in my face. Told me I had no reason to be acting like that and to be feeling that way, and that me and Paul were fighting like brother and sister. I was like, no, we're not. I ended up finding this apartment here, moving in here. And for 2 weeks, like I asked her if it was okay if for 2 weeks Oliver stayed living with them. It's like, I will buy the food for both weeks. I just need you to feed him on the nights I can't come home from work. She's like, yeah. You buy the food, I'll feed him. It'll be fine. When I go see him finally, you can very clearly see he has not eaten since I left. You could like count every bone in his body basically, especially his rib cage. It was so bad. It was so sad. And it's not like it would have been a hassle to try to feed him. I mean, she had 3 dogs she was already having to feed anyways. So in order for her to not feed him, she was having to go out of her way to separate him from the other dogs and only feed hers with the food that I was buying. But whatever. We're out of there now. I guess that's what matters. You learn a lot about somebody when you move in with them. It was a shitty situation, but I got a lot of good out of it. That is all for this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not already, and make sure you like and comment on this video and share it if you please. It helps me out a lot when you do all those things. And I appreciate you all so much, and I love you, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Don't hate me 'cause I get attention. Don't turn me